Hello, and welcome everyone to another episode of Girls That Game, our monthly podcast where we talk about the games we love to play, our streaming experience, and everything in between. I'm AlteredCalyx. To the right is featuringFlewt, and together we are Girls That Game. We have a big episode today. Why is it big? I don't know. But we're adding a segment that is yet to be named, but for now we're going to be calling it Real Talk. It'll be about gaming-related topics that we share our opinions on. We touched on it last episode when we talked about microtransactions, and this month we'll delve into early access, but that's for later. For now, Flute, what have you been up to? Catch us up on what you've been doing this past month.
Very good, Calyx. You may regret handing the floor to me because I think this is going to be an episode with many big thoughts, maybe some spicy thoughts.
I love it. Bring it.
But in terms of just a catch-up, it's been a super busy month for me. I've started a new job, which is very exciting, but very tiring. So... Still, games are a little bit on the back burner. Last month, I was like, oh yeah, time to get back into those games, but I've just been so tired. But the games have still been very exciting. I've been playing a lot off stream again because of that tiredness, but I'm still going with Unicorn Overlord, which is still adding like new mechanics that change the way fights work. And it's got to the point where now I can upgrade characters to be able to have additional actions in combat, and that changes your priority of what you're looking at. Anyway, Unicorn Overlord, if you're a tactics fan, give it a shot. It's amazing.
Excellent. Excellent.
The other one is my big, exciting passion speech. Yeah, it's gigantic. Specifically,
what is this? Never heard of it.
Yes. So let's start back at the beginning because I feel like I need to explain where my passion for this game comes from.
Okay, yes.
This was a mix between a MOBA and a hero shooter that originally released back in... I think it was like 2016, 2017. Don't check me on that. It was like 6 years ago. 6+ years ago. And I remember being super drawn to it because I was very into Smite at the time. I was looking for something else. And I loved the art style and the character design. It was just, I'd never seen character design like it. The movement of characters, their weird and interesting combinations, their kits. It was so full of creativity. And that really drew me to it. Okay. But it released into a very difficult period of time. It released just after Overwatch, despite development starting before Overwatch. It was, yeah, exactly. I feel like that explains most.
Exactly.
Most of the difficulties it faced. But it also was developed by a very small team of very passionate developers who unfortunately did not have much money since. And so the whole story behind Gigantic's development is really quite heart-wrenching. They ran out of money several times. They had to go to 2 different publishers, I think, and I should have brushed up on this. I think it was originally Microsoft, and Microsoft was like, you have to make this for the Microsoft store. And then it moved to whoever was running Arc Games at the time.
I don't know.
And they said it has to be on Arc, the Arc launcher, which is just the worst launcher. It's atrocious.
I hope they said no to that then.
Unfortunately, they had to take it. So not only did they waste a bunch of development time making sure the games were available on those platforms, it also totally split the player base. So, yeah, it didn't have crossplay. It was on the Microsoft store. It was on Steam and it was on Arc. And that was just a nightmare, a disaster in the making. It also, to compound on that, still didn't have monetization. So I remember I was like, I love this game. I'm having so much fun. It's so unique. It's got an interesting stamina mechanic. It's got interesting map mechanics. I really want to support it. And the only way I could at the time was to buy the founders pack. And that was it. There were no in-game microtransactions. There was no ranked mode yet. And so they didn't have a way to keep players and keep monetizing the game.
What year was this? Because I feel like, wow, they didn't even, it's almost like they didn't even think about monetizing it, right? Like, yeah. It's like,
it was so bizarre. I remember even at the time, and I'm not a fan of microtransactions, but a free-to-play game needs to earn money.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, they didn't even think of that. It's like, what? Where are they getting their money? Yeah, how the income? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was so strange. So strange. I remember being like, I would pay money for skins and stuff. Give me the option.
Here's my wallet.
Yes, precisely. Anyway, so I remember I brought my partner Hemi into it. I took other friends into it. I played the absolute heck out of it. But for all of the reasons I listed, unfortunately, it went under. They had to take it offline.
Okay.
And I was heartbroken. I remember I even stopped playing before it went offline because I was just so sad every time I booted it up. And and it's very embarrassing to say, but I've had stages of grief for this game.
Wow, this game had an impact on you, huh?
It had such an impact. Over the years, occasionally I'll go back, I'll look up videos of Gigantic and be like, I miss it.
Yeah.
And then to everyone's absolute shock and horror, well, not horror, shock and disbelief.
Okay.
Last year, I think it was now, there was suddenly an email that went out, and I only found out about it because I'm still on the Reddit, which still has players very passionately, every week or so, being like, hey, anyone rebooting this game?
Okay.
And then suddenly these emails went out, and it was like, this is a confidential, closed, one-time weekend get to play the game.
Okay.
And everyone went, huh?
What? How's there a game that you can only play one weekend? But yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, it's just a special thank you to players. Very confidential, whatever. You can only get in if you've got the invite. That was bullshit. Everyone got in. You did not need an invite.
Confidential, yet it's blasted on Reddit. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And all you had to do was go on and download it. You didn't actually need the invite at all.
Okay.
So it was so strange, but I was thrilled. I got Hemi in there. We played, and we went, now hold on a second. This is a different game mode. Now hold on a second. There's new cosmetics in here. Now hold on a second. There's new progression stuff in here. And so
same game, but little look updated, visually, looks prettier.
Unfortunately, not really. But just new stuff that the original game didn't have, new little quest system, new tutorial. And we went, there is no way that they've put development time into adding some stuff in here, and they're not going to bring the game back. And lo and behold, Gigantic Rampage Edition has been brought back.
Yay!
So exciting. It is a little of an interesting circumstance. So it's been brought back as a paid-to-play game, so it's now $20. Or I think it's 20 New Zealand. But no microtransactions after that. Everything's unlockable in-game. Yeah, so it's a bit of a strange monetization.
But it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's like Guild Wars 2. Have you ever played Guild Wars 2?
Yes, pay to play.
You play for the and then there's no monthly fee or anything like that. Oh, that's great. Okay.
Right? So it does make me worry a little bit about how they're going to maintain the game long term. But I think it's also really great for both us longtime fans, new people who want to get in that, hey, it's a one-time fee, unlock everything in-game, play what you enjoy. It's very exciting. And
I think it has a chance to be successful because I know Guild Wars 2 is still going strong and stuff. So yeah.
So I'm
Thinking good
thrilled.
thoughts for you guys. Yes.
Yes, I would love that. Like everyone checks it out. I do think there are still some issues. Like the UI is a bit janky. Um, Unfortunately, the in-game visuals haven't really been updated, so it still looks like a 2016, 6-year-old,
Mm,
6 plus, I guess, 2017-year-old
mm,
game. Um, but I think the art style really carries it. It's a pretty timeless art style, very cel-shaded kind of look. The
mm-hmm.
character designs and gameplay are just, I still think they're amazing. They're so much fun.
Mm,
That's something that age doesn't really change.
mm-hmm.
So if
So you're
that
happy.
sounds,
You're happy with it.
yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
happy with
I
it.
couldn't
And I
tell. Are
like,
you happy with it?
yeah, I like want to get everyone into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my big, very happy, going to be playing lots of gigantic kind of story.
Oh, are we going to be watching it on stream? Are we going to be able to watch it on stream, or is this a completely off stream game?
Now, I do make it my little like self rule to
Mm-hmm.
myself that I don't play PvP games on stream because I get
Uh,
very salty and it
oh
brings
no,
out a side of me that I
I
don't want
I
people to
understand.
see.
I understand. I understand.
But I might play Gigantic on stream because I want to play Gigantic. So we'll see.
Yes, and then spread that joy, right?
Exactly, exactly. So it's a good time.
Awesome.
I'm excited. But what have you been up to this month, Calyx?
So hubby and I finally finished Monster Hunter World, the base game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really fun. It's still like hubby's like that's like one of his top games. Like I don't know. He was like saying, "Is this the best game?" I mean, he was like going on and on. And I mean,
No
I loved it too.
way.
Like it was so fun, right? And now, so we're gonna start Iceborne actually tomorrow,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and we're gonna
exciting.
see what that's all about. Yeah, so it's gonna be new monsters. There's some crossover events I hear, like with The Witcher and Final Fantasies, like Behemoth or something. So I think that's
Really?
gonna be so fun. Like I don't know how it's gonna play out, but we'll find out
Yeah.
tomorrow and onwards, I guess. So we have that to look forward to. And then other than that,
Exciting.
just we love it. It's so much fun. Um, we're still on Dragon's Dogma 2.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Same
Yes.
here.
Yeah. So I saw that you were playing Sorcerer. Is that your latest and greatest? How are you
Oh
enjoying
my
it?
goodness. Okay.
Yes.
Let's dig into Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yes.
Yes, still been playing a lot, and obviously I have lots of stories from my partner playing it as well. Is your hubby playing?
He finished it.
He finished
Um,
it. Oh,
yeah, he
nice.
finished it like a couple weeks ago or something. Like he was, because he went ham on it. He was just like, playing all hours onto that. But the thing
Yeah.
is, he couldn't get himself to play a new game plus because he tried, but he says it's too easy because you're
Mm,
so OP in the beginning because you retain, I guess, all your stuff and whatever. But so he wishes there was a harder mode, and he hopes that there'll be a future DLC that ups the difficulty somehow. He
mm,
knows that maybe just he can self gimp, right? Like play with one less pawn or solo play, but
mhm,
he
mhm.
just he wants to play the game just harder type of thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what he's hoping for.
I
But
totally understand that. I think I've heard similar sentiments from other people while streaming. Um, and same with Hemi, he also has just gotten hard on Dragon's Dogma. In fact,
mm-hmm.
he's playing at the moment. But yeah, he's also finished the game. He's on New Game Plus. He doesn't mind being overpowered. But
Mm.
I look over at his game sometimes and I'm like, there's not really any challenge anymore.
Yeah,
But
even right now, I'm not experiencing, like, I'm like, okay, you pawns got this, right? I'm gonna go get this chest while you guys got it, right? So it's like,
yes.
I'm not even, taking it seriously. I mean, unless it's a boss fight, but even the boss fights, well, I say boss, but like, before the Cyclops and ogres were hard, but now it's like, pawns, you got this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, until we get to maybe a newer area, a different area that's maybe more up to that'll be more different. Maybe they'll have different, because each little biome or whatever has like slightly different creatures and stuff. So I'm hoping like the next hub will be a little bit harder too. But yeah, I
For
think it is a
sure.
little bit easier too. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. But coming back to your question about Sorcerer,
Mm.
I
Yes.
love Sorcerer. And I know last time I was like, yes, I'm loving Mage. And
Mm-hmm.
I've tried just about every vocation that I have unlocked to me now, except for
Mm.
Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoy Sorcerer.
Yes. I felt
I
my most
don't know what it
confident when
is.
I played Sorcerer, so I
Yes!
feel that sentiment.
I feel like it's got very big, powerful, either AoE spells or control spells or damage
Mm-hmm.
spells, whatever it is. I feel like I'm impactful,
Mm-hmm.
kind of at any time,
Mm-hmm.
which is
I felt
really
like,
nice.
yeah, you can control the situation too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I remember fighting a Drake type of thing, and I just kept not repeatedly, but I cast the freezing winds one. I forgot what it's
Mm-hmm.
called, but
Hagel?
Frigga is it okay? I can't. It's the wind one, not the solid ice one. But
Yeah.
so that it would freeze and it couldn't fly away, you know? So I'm
Yes.
like, so I just felt like, yes, I'm controlling the situation, type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So yeah, I just felt it was very impactful as well. And because it has like that, that little levitate, so I can make all the
Yes.
jumps and stuff too.
Yes, the exploration, the levitate. Did you try out the like magic bomb ability that the sorcerer has?
With that electric one, right? I have not, because I guess I didn't really understand it, but it sounds like you have. So
Well, okay, so there's two that you might be talking
okay.
about, and I love both.
Okay.
There's Thundermine, which was the little
Uh-huh.
electric ball that
Mm-hmm.
shocks enemies if they get close.
Uh-huh.
It does very little damage, but it is amazing when you're being surrounded by a pack of goblins or wolves or harpies, because it
Mm-hmm.
shocks them and absolutely sends them flying. And then they're ragdolled for
Oh.
ages. So
Okay.
I pop that down and then I'm
Oh,
like, right, nothing's getting close to me for a while.
that's awesome.
So good. And then the
So
other
it's like
one,
crowd control then, huh?
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
a whole little bit of area denial,
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
That's nice. Very, very
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah. And then the other one is I constantly forget what it's called. To me, it's
Yeah,
just like my
same.
glowy magic bomb. Um, you put it on an enemy, and then if you attack it, it like charges up and then explodes after it's kind of fully charged.
Wait, so you put it down and then you attack the glowy ball
It attaches
yourself?
to enemies, so it'll like go on one of their points,
Okay.
and then if you attack that,
Oh, okay,
it
okay, okay,
charges up,
gotcha.
and it does
Oh, okay.
massive damage and
Oh, we like
staggers.
that. We
Oh,
like
so
that.
good.
We like that.
it's been my favorite so far. What are your favorite
Excellent.
vocations? What have you played so
Mm,
far?
so I started off with Archer, then did Sorcerer, Fighter, Warrior, Trickster, and now I'm on Magic Archer.
Oh, yes, I
Um,
just unlocked Magic Archer.
yeah, Magic Archer is pretty fun. Um, it's Maester training ability though. I might take it off my ability bar on my, whatever, because I actually killed myself using that. And
No way.
I mean,
I
I knew it was
just
gonna
unlocked
drain my
it.
health, but I was
Mhm.
like, what? It's not gonna take me down to zero. Nope, it took me down to zero. I was like, okay,
Oh.
that's a little bit dangerous.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's probably gonna be a future short there, YouTube short.
That'll be good. I want to see that
Yeah,
one.
right.
Oh, that's crazy. Because
Um,
I just unlocked that yesterday and I was looking at it like, that looks really powerful, but surely you can only use that once or twice.
yeah, so yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I didn't use it that much because after that death, I was like, yeah, I don't need to be tempted by that or anything. Oh, and then
Mhm.
I just unlocked Thief last night, so we started playing that. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, and then I just have Warfare and Mage. Maybe those are the last two I have.
Oh, interesting.
But
You
I think
haven't had mage yet.
no, because I don't know, because I didn't want to heal. I was like,
Mhm.
I don't want to heal. I was like, I'd rather, put out the damage and stuff. But out of
Gotcha.
all those, I would say my favorite, like I said, I felt the most confidence And in Control was the sorcerer, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
I might go back to that after I leveled up everything. I might just go back to sorcerer.
Very good. Yes.
What about you? What all did you try out?
Okay, so far I've tried Fighter, which
Mm-hmm.
was more satisfying than I was expecting, but I
Okay.
felt very what's the word? Out of control. Like no, I felt like I was very, very reliant on my pawns. If there were mobs, I could shield bash them and then execute them. And outside of that, I was walking around with like a straw tickling bosses. So that was cool. I was specifically trying to get some passives out of that.
Yes, we all know which one.
Yeah. Yeah. For loot goblins like us, there's only one.
Uh-huh. Yep. The extra carry strength.
That's the one, yeah. Archer, I'm afraid, is my least favorite by a long shot. I tried it just to get the stamina, the like additional stamina passive.
Yep.
And then I went, I have to change. I really felt completely useless. That's probably because I couldn't aim. But I felt really, really didn't enjoy it. How did you find, because you started with Archer. What's your opinion on it now?
I wonder if the difference though is because I heard someone else was telling me they didn't like Archer because aiming was too hard. But for me, I'm a keyboard user, right? And it was not a problem. Like I didn't have a problem. Like that didn't even cross my mind. So I was just like, oh really? But it definitely is not like mage. Well, I'm assuming mage, but sorcerer, like with the auto like target type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't I didn't have a problem with this. So I guess it's kind of depends on the controller, whether it's a controller or a keyboard. So
yeah. I think if I'd had, my mouse and keyboard, I would have felt differently, but I just felt so useless on a controller.
Yeah.
What else?
Understand.
Thief was a lot of fun with the zoomies.
Yeah. It's a little OP. Like I didn't have money or DCP to buy like the ability, so I just had the Maester training and this whatever you start with, and I still felt OP. I was just like,
really?
Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's very good. And I just really enjoyed the magical zoomies.
So which one's your favorite, would you say? Oh, sorry. Did you have more?
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
Mystic Spearhand. I really enjoy Mystic Spearhand. It took quite a while to get the muscle memory of like charge up your little Sith lightning while doing other stuff and then release it at the right time, possibly teleport to it. There was a lot going on, but once I got that down, I felt like I could shield my party, I could stun enemies, stagger them. I felt really powerful or like effective with Mystic Spearhand. Have you tried it at all?
No, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I have not tried that one. I unlocked it, but I haven't tried it. I keep saying next, but then it's next for sure. Next, Yeah, Mystic Spearhand.
I think my big disappointment with it was that a lot of the abilities felt gimmicky. Like there were some really good ones. Your standard dash, your actual core mechanic was great. Like I said, charging up your Sith lightning to be able to incapacitate enemies and then execute them. The bubble shield for your whole team just makes your team invulnerable for a little while. Amazing.
I like the sound of that. Yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah. But then there's a lot of just gimmick abilities that I was like, I don't even care to pick that up. There's one that looks really fun. It just picks up some small enemies and yeets them to the horizon. Like absolutely catapults them. But that means, and then you don't get experience and you don't get loot out of them.
Yes, that's important.
And that makes me sad.
Yeah. Luke Goblin sadness. Yes,
Yeah.
we can all sympathize here.
Yeah. But I'd love to see what you think when you pick it up. They were just like that. A lot of abilities where it's like, oh, pick up rocks in your area and throw them at an enemy. And I'm like, I don't. Meh. How often is that useful?
I was thinking the reason why it's also just kind of not on my mind is because I never really searched for them as for a pawn either. Like I'm always looking
Oh.
for either a mage for heals or a sorcerer because I like the elemental damage and stuff. So those are the two that I always look for, intentionally. But you know what? Maybe next time I will rent, a warfare just to see how it plays and stuff too. So,
Well,
yeah.
I think that's actually something I'm really sad about, is that the pawns can't be Mystic Spearhand or Warfarer or
That's right.
anything.
Okay, you're right. Completely right. It didn't cross my mind because, like I said, I only look for the two, the sorcerer and mage, but you're right. They can't be the other ones. Yeah.
Exactly. And that makes me really sad because they have some amazing outfits. And I'm like, I want this on my pawn. I think she'd look really pretty.
Yes.
Oh, and I tried Trickster. I know you tried Trickster too. What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was cool and it was gimmicky. It's just there was no damage, and so the fights were, I felt safe and I could taunt and all that, but it was a lot slower. And at one point, we're fighting Doulahan. One pawn was down. One other pawn died before I even got there, so I was only had 200. But so the last one standing is me as a trickster and a mage who I guess only had defensive spells. So he's there just casting, healing and I'm like, can you please hit him for the love of God, because I have no damaging, abilities, So I just had to run from the fight. I was like, I can't do this. But
that's
but
tragic.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a neat class. I'm just like, yeah, I can't. I need to do a little bit of damage here. So, what about you? How did you find Trickster?
I wanted to love Trickster because, one, the outfits are really good and very much my aesthetic, suits my character really well.
Yep, they were pretty. I love them.
Two, once I kind of figured out how the game was going, I was like, I think this is actually going to be a really cool class. So Trickster's whole mechanic is that you put down an illusion and then you can taunt enemies onto the illusion, and you can use a bunch of different smoky illusions for different effects. And I thought it would feel much more puppeteering than it did. I found that my team was actually amazingly effective. I found enemies were going down so quickly, but I struggled to tell how much of that was my impact. And that made it a lot less satisfying. Because I'd put my thing down, I'd taunt enemies, but then my pawns would already be killing them. And I'm like, okay, well, are my pawns now okay because I taunted them? Or because my pawns just killed them too quickly? And then...
I think it's a taunt, though. Yeah.
Go on. I definitely think it helped. Fearing big bosses was quite nice with the big dragon thing. And the damage buff for my pawns. I found that that was the quickest I killed bosses, was with Trickster.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I could see that it was effective. I just didn't feel satisfied with it. I don't know if you can relate.
I thought it was cool. So I would have my decoy, and then as we're moving, I would just keep dragging her behind. And then once we ran into a pack of goblins or whatever, I would taunt. And it's so cool because I would see them run right past me to my decoy, right? And I'm like, this is cool, So that's why I was saying the taunt is pretty effective. Because I'm like, I just have it like that, and then all my pawns get free hits on the mobs and stuff. So. I don't know. I think it was just that one fight that I had against Doulahan where I was just I couldn't do any damage. The mage wasn't doing any damage, and it just felt really bad that I had to run away from the fight. I'm just like,
oh my goodness. Okay, so in exactly that same vein, I picked up Trickster, and immediately afterwards, there was a quest that you can run into in Back Batal. That was something like you get accosted by some thugs who are all like, "Oh, I don't like that you've got pawns. No, I'm a pretty
Yes.
open-minded fella, but how dare you have pawns?"
Uh-huh.
And then they just attack you, and
Yep.
I couldn't do anything. I'd literally just unlocked Trickster and had the bare base abilities. I hadn't even learned how to use them yet. And I did no damage. What was I
Yeah.
supposed to do against this guy?
Exactly.
And your pawns aren't allowed to help. And then I just immediately died because I was like, there's nothing I can do. But
Exactly.
before you die, I don't know if you've encountered this. I think it's quite hard to miss in Back Batal. Have you had this quest?
I did most of the back batal stuff, so yeah, it's probably it's safe. Go on, go for it. Yeah.
There's a very handsome dude resting at a table right next to this fight. And as soon as, I guess it's like a safe trigger or whatever, as soon as I died, and just before I could, he kind of interrupts the fight. He goes, "Now hold on a second, this doesn't seem fair. There's like 4 of you guys and
against one. Yep.
And he's like, "Let's make it a fair fight." I was like, "Yes, thank God, my pawns are going to be allowed to join." But no, instead it became a one-on-one fight. And I was like, I can't win this. I do 0 damage.
Yeah, exactly. That's the that's
What
the
am I
vein.
supposed to
That's
do?
what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly.
So eventually I went, can my pawns join? So I press help. And my pawns came in and like finished the fight. But that broke the quest because then that boy resting on the table was like, "How dare you not have an honorable duel that I set up for you?" And he just refuses to talk to me now. And I know he was like a quest giver because I saw him in Hemi's game. I'm like, that's bullshit. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah, I want to talk about this later too, but like when we get into more about the issues with the game with that game, but I can't finish some quests either in there.
Oh, yeah. We have to talk about that. But yeah, with Trickster,
exactly.
I think there's going to be a small subset of players who love Trickster, like ride and die Trickster. But I wish it was put earlier in the game because you unlock it like halfway through.
Yeah.
And I think the players who are really going to love Trickster would play it from the beginning. And they're probably put off from the game by having to play anything else before that.
Yeah.
That's just my feeling. Yeah. So it just felt a bit weird for me.
Do you have any favorite party comps then?
Oh, I wanted to ask you this. Yes, I think. I love Warrior. I much prefer Warrior over Fighter for a frontliner.
100%. 100%.
Yeah? Okay,
yes.
You're the same. Okay, because my partner Hemi much prefers a Fighter, and I'm like, I just don't feel like Fighter's doing anything.
No, I don't ever get Fighter anymore. After it was during like once I got to back to Batal, and I don't know why, but yeah, I think because I tried Warrior, right? And I found Warrior more satisfying and whatever than Fighter. So I was like, yeah, if I'm gonna get a melee, I'm gonna get a Warrior or Thief, but I didn't need a Thief at the time. But so I was just like, yeah, I don't mind Warrior, but I was like, nope, I'm not picking Fighter. So that's funny though. Yeah, just differing opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like Warrior survives really well. I don't know if they have a higher health pool or something. They do way better damage. They knock down enemies much more reliably.
Yes, exactly.
So good. Yeah. So Warrior for sure is a frontliner. Mage for sure. I always have a mage in my party for the healing.
Same.
And then my main pawn has kind of been alternating between the damage dealers, and I had her as archer, and I actually finally got abilities that I was like, oh, it feels like she's really contributing. And then I wanted to try her as thief, but I wasn't sure how well the AI would control thief. But damn, she goes feral. She does so much damage as thief.
Yeah. Thieves are OP. It's almost unethical.
Yeah, I remember you said you'd started with Thief, and I was like, ooh, interesting. But now I understand.
Yeah.
Sorry, you'd started your pawn with Thief.
Yeah. Pawn was Thief. Hubby played Thief, and he was like, he had to like stop doing some stuff. Like I forgot what ability, but he was like, because it's just too OP. Yeah, it was just like,
goes
He was like
nuts.
self-gimping.
Yeah, yeah. And then purely for the fashion, I've been thinking about changing my main pawn to sorcerer. But I've seen a lot of sorcerer pawns just walk around half casting spells and then cancelling them. And then moving like an inch to the right and then casting and then cancelling right before it goes off. And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that. Have you had that happen to you? Because you said you usually have a sorcerer pawn.
I honestly don't pay attention to them. I just know they're there because all of a sudden I see like meteors, like, erupting the ground, or a big gigantic tornado, and that's awesome. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't see anything. Like, guys, I can't loot. I can't see. So I know they're
That's
doing
fair.
something, but I honestly don't pay attention. But I can believe that they're not, they move and then they stop, because they are a little bit janky like that, So I'm just like, okay. Just in general, the pawns I feel like are super
bit
janky. They keep falling to their death on me too. I'm
Really?
like, are you kidding me? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm just like, can you
that
not
sucks.
die? I have to, a lot of times if I'm exploring, I'm like, oh, I think there's a secret token up there. I will have my pawns wait. I'm like, I don't trust you guys. So
Wow,
and I
that
will go jumping
bad.
around. Yeah. I was just like, you guys wait here. Or maybe it's
Mhm.
just me being a little bit more careless or reckless, I guess, because I am going to these super high places that have barely a ledge, trying to explore. So it could be me too. But after that, I was like, no, you guys stay here. I will check it out. I will let you guys know when it's safe to go.
That does sound
So.
sensible, to be fair. I had quite the frustration moment yesterday where I just went, what? Where I was going along a little ledge, steep cliff right next to you, but there are banisters like along, like safety rails. Yay, prevent you from falling off. But my girl would prefer to step on top of a banister than any other piece of ground. And so I went vaguely close to look over, and she jumps up onto the banister, and then because they don't seem to treat these handrails the same as actual cliff ledges, she just went boop off the other side. I fell down right in front of a griffin to my death. I was like, why? Oh, it's so annoying.
That means you can't even use a wake stone then, because you're right in front of a griffin.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to use my wake stone because I'm just going to die, because my pawns aren't going to leap off the cliff after me.
Because then they'll die too.
Exactly. Anyway, that was annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what about your favorite party compositions?
So whatever I am, because I've been switching so much, just because I have this mentality of like, I don't like to waste EXP. So as soon as I max out a vocation, I will switch over. So whatever I am, and then like I said, I like a warrior, sorcerer, and mage for the heals.
Very nice.
Eventually, when Jack's an archer right now, because I want him to get that stamina augment.
Yes,
But
very nice.
once he unlocks everything of archer, I'm gonna have him go back to thief. I was like, might as well. He's meant to be a thief, right? So I'm just like, yeah, you can go back to your thieving ways. It's fine.
Very nice. Yeah. Sounds good.
So then, are we still enjoying the game?
Oh,
compared like snapshot of like beginning and then now type of thing.
Okay. I think that's a great way to go about it. Those early frustrations that we talked in depth about last episode.
Yes.
Honestly, I don't even think about them anymore. I do still think the single save slot is a bit of a bitch, but the game autosaves so frequently that I actually haven't found it as frustrating as I did in the beginning when I maybe wanted to start a new game plus. And I think that has even, a new game. I think that's even been patched now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I can definitely still understand the frustration of the single save game. I still don't like it, but it hasn't bothered me as much as it did originally.
Excellent.
What else were some real niggles early on? I've got to the part of the game where I can unlock new dies. So now I've gone in, I've totally, not totally, but I've remade my character, I've remade my pawn. so that I'm just much happy with them. I can actually have blues for my mermaidy pawn now.
Oh, you know what? I have not. I
So that was
know
really
I
good.
unlocked the dyes, but I have not checked it out. So you're saying like makeups and hairs, you can have colors?
Yeah,
Oh,
everything. So you know that Bakbatal vendor that you buy the dyes for?
mm-hmm.
It can then be used for absolutely everything. Hair color, makeup, skin color.
Oh,
Like you can now have bright pink,
oh,
bright blue skins, but you have to be in
okay.
The Bakbatal like barber to use them.
Uh-huh. Got you. I see. I just assumed it was for armor and stuff. I was like, I'm fine. It's
I
fine.
wish.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know it was for like the cosmetics. Okay, like the hair and the makeup and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go visit them then.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
very, very happy.
we're gonna need an updated picture of your mermaidy girl then. I want to see how this girl looks
Yes.
like. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'll have to get one for when this actually goes up. But yeah,
Yes.
I'm so much happier with both of my characters now. I went in, I've done a lot of character creation since. Remember
Oh,
last
really?
time? Yeah, remember last time I was like, my girl looks so derpy
Yes, you said this. I
in
remember.
cutscenes. Yeah. So I've been
Uh-huh.
back in like re-editing both my girl and my pawn multiple
Uh-huh.
times to the point that I'm really, really happy with both of them now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we're gonna need updated pics of these girls now. So did you
Yes.
end up spending a fortune? Because didn't you say it was like 10K to Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah. Thankfully, you can use your RC or Rift crystals
Mm-hmm.
in Vermont. Is that the main city? The first main city?
Is it Vernworth? I don't
Ver-
know. I
Vern
know the people
something.
are called Vermundian, but I'm not sure if the city is
Oh,
called Vernworth. I don't
Vern?
know.
Yeah, something like that.
Something. It's Vern
For something.
something. Yeah.
In that city, the Rift Crystal vendor sells art of transformation or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been using that instead of paying gold because I have
Oh,
a lot more Rift
smart.
crystals than gold.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Because it's not a problem and you don't have to buy them through
exactly.
microtransactions.
Yeah, you don't have to buy them with microtransactions. I haven't even
Yeah.
thought about microtransactions
Yep.
since we last talked about
Exactly.
it, which is
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yep.
So, yeah, all of those things we kind of initially mentioned as being initial turnoffs or frustrations honestly don't bother me anymore. I've barely thought about them. However,
Excellent. However, there's a however.
however, now that I'm much further into the game,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really disappointed in the depth of the narrative going on.
Oh yeah.
Like the story quests they feel so shallow.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the world building is really paper thin. The characters are very just quest givers.
100% agreed.
Even the presentation of the main story quest so far has been minimal. It's mostly just stand and talk to NPC, which I was like, at least give me a cutscene for this, like something interesting. It's been
Agreed.
disappointing. The open world, still amazing. Like the X factor of the game, and I think the core question that we're asking is, are we still having fun? The game is really fun. Like, I enjoy just going out and playing the game. But I can't
Exactly.
help, as someone who loves RPG narratives, being quite disappointed so far in the depth of the story.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I mean, to me, I barely even know the story. I'm not very invested in it. I don't feel like I have enough, I guess, even of the main quest to even like feel anything. I really just feel like I'm doing my own thing, like the open world part of it, right? I'm just going out, I'm exploring, I come across some escort quests, I'll have some other quests. But for the most part, I'm just like, in that sense, I do feel kind of lost. So maybe it's time do some of the main quests to, find out what the story is, after all this time. I'm like,
Yes,
okay.
I have been
But yeah.
told by multiple sources that there is like a big reveal later on in the main story or towards the end that like makes stuff make sense and suddenly adds lore and depth or whatever. I don't know how much that is really going to impact things, and it's a little late if it's right at the end of the story. But
Yeah.
maybe my opinion will change once I see that. we'll see. But it definitely feels like the quests and the world are kind of just an excuse for gameplay. And the gameplay is fantastic. So I'm having fun with that.
Agreed.
How about you, Calyx? From beginning to now, how are you feeling about it?
So in the beginning, I feel like I was having more fun, but I think that's because, it's new, things were a little bit more challenging, um, so it was just, wow factor and everything. But now I feel like my games kind of devolved to exploring and finding shinies and treasures because I have the detection, from the trickster, so I hear the
Yes!
pinging. So I'm like,
Yes!
oh, I hear it. I gotta go find it,
Uh-huh.
Um, Jack also has the spikes, the dowsing spikes that go pinging, that glows and ping when treasure chests are nearby.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so that's only for a thief, but when he was a thief, so I would go for that. So my game is constantly interrupted by, oh, there's some kind of either treasure, seeker coin, or wake shard, piece or whatever, wake stone shard. So it's just that's my game. I'm finding
Mhm.
shinies.
Yes. Okay.
And like I said,
Yeah.
and like the combat is a little bit easy right now. So I'm just like, it really is just me. I feel I enjoy it, but it's on the boring side. I enjoy it
Mm.
because I'm finding shinies, right? But in terms of combat, I feel it's a little bit boring just because it's a little bit easy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha.
so I would say my initial joy is slightly diminished, and I think maybe because most of the wow factor has already played out for me, like
Mm-hmm.
seeing the big cyclops, seeing the big ogres, griffin flying in, swooping in, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, a little bit diminished, but just like I love the gameplay. I mean, I'm still going out there, and I mean, I love it so much that I've foregone most of the main quest just to go out and explore and fight baddies and stuff. So having fun, just a little bit diminished for me.
Yeah, I gotcha. I think I was really feeling the same. And then I got told by a viewer on stream, and Hemi encountered it. There is a version of the ending that totally changes the world and adds harder monsters. So
Mm.
whenever I get to that point, I'll ask him how I get there because it's not intuitive from what I understand. But that
Oh,
sounds really
really? Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
I'm all for it. Yeah, making it a little bit more difficult because, like I said, right now I'm just like, I if I could be here or not, and like my
mhm,
pawn's got it, type of thing.
mhm.
So, yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that then. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get you. The amount of times I've turned my back on a fight because I'm like, yeah, my pawn's got this.
Yeah, you guys
Oh,
got it.
I must say, I had to turn off detection. So detection's a passive that you get from Trickster for anyone who's
Yeah,
not
you
familiar.
turned it off.
I
I got to
turn
hear this
I
reason.
I had to turn it off for stream because, and I might
Uh-huh.
just keep it off until New Game Plus or something.
Uh-huh.
Because it drove me nuts.
Oh.
I like, and the fact that I was getting so consistently distracted because
Mm-hmm.
not because I wanted the shiny, but because I needed to stop the noise, like the constant pinging
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I felt too.
in
I'm
my
like, where is this? I
vicinity.
gotta find this.
Yes. And when I couldn't get there, it was like giving me a headache. And I eventually went, no, if I'm going to be, while I'm streaming, I have to turn this
Mhm.
off. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen. And I'm just going to be irritated and like annoyed.
Maybe that's why I feel it's slightly boring for me. Because yeah, I'm always like, okay, because I'm not doing anything except finding shiny. So yeah, maybe I'll turn. Maybe I don't know. That goes against what I believe, though. I don't know. I'll turn that
Right?
off.
It felt
You know?
so wrong.
Yeah. So maybe I have to give it a try. Because yeah, I'm not doing anything. Oh gosh, but yeah. So I totally understand your reasoning there.
Yeah, yeah. So I can finally do quests.
Exactly.
Yeah. And have you run into
Oh.
any
Mhm.
issues in the game? Any bugs and problems?
So the main thing, I mean, the pawn's jankiness, I just took it as, it's a given. It's gonna happen, fine, whatever. But the thing that is really bothering me now is that some of the quests, there's a couple quests that I can't, it just won't complete, it won't advance.
So what's happened
Mhm.
there?
So I talked to the person and he's just like, have you done the Hugo?
Oh, that's the boy from the like Raiders, right? And he's in
Yeah, yeah,
prison.
yeah, yeah.
I
Did you
have that
finish?
quest. I have
Uh-huh.
no idea what to do for it.
Yeah, see, okay. But I was able to like advance the dialogue a little bit so I can talk to him, but now he's just like, that was my life. I need to find a job. He's like, "Can you find me a job?" I'm like, um, okay, maybe. I don't know. It's like, I, but I'm supposed to find him a job. I'm just like, what? Like, and the
Mhm,
quest
mhm.
doesn't really explain like how to, do it and everything. So,
Right.
I'm just like, I'm just gonna have to leave this alone because unless it, happens, organically later on, like something triggers it. Because I'm like, he won't say anything else to me like different. I don't know where to go. I'm like reading the quest log over. I'm like, he needs a job, but I was like, have you heard of Indeed? Have you tried searching? Like, I don't know. Why do I have to find this job for you? It's
Yeah.
like
Have you written your CV?
yes, exactly. Capcom did put out a patch a couple days ago on the 9th with some vague fixes, and one of them did say fixed issues that prevented progression in some quests. But I went
Oh,
back to Hugo, and he's still some. I don't know if what I'm experiencing is intended because it's still doing the same thing, but
right.
I don't know.
I
I don't
wonder
know.
if
So
it's one of
there's,
those
yeah.
ones, um, like the one I did on stream, where the quest just goes, do this thing, and then you have to run around and talk to just random villagers until you get like random clues, maybe?
I have no idea. There is a clue. I don't, and then okay, I guess I'm getting them confused. There's another quest with the Empress. Have you did the Empress quest? We're dealing with
Is
the Empress?
okay, so the only Empress quests I've done
Mm-hmm.
is the one that's like the Empress is going to be doing her seance or whatever in front of the green flame,
Yes.
and you need
Mm-hmm.
to pick out the assassin.
Yes. You did that one?
Yep.
Okay. I failed that one because that
Really?
was reading comprehension probably on my part. I thought the search area was a lot bigger than just those steps.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was searching like all around, and they're like, "Oh, she died." I'm like, "Wait, what?" And I was like,
No!
"Wait, I want to redo that part." But of course I can't because it auto saved right then. And I'm like,
No!
I was like, that's just because I
Oh,
read it wrong. I want to do it over, type of thing.
yes. That's
So
the issue with the single
mhm.
save slot.
Yes, it is. I'm like, because I know I saved it before that, because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll save it before and then I'll look. But yeah, it saved right after that. But then later on, like much later on, there was like a continuation. Somehow they're like, we still want you to find out who was behind the assassination or whatever, right? So I'm like, okay. And they're like, okay, talk to the guy that's in jail. He's like, okay. And then I talked to him and he's like, well, it was someone from the Coral Snakes. I'm like, okay. And
Helpful.
I'm like, yeah. So I thought he said talk to the guy in the cell that's down here. Also, I talked to him, and all he says is, uh. I'm like, okay. So I was like, maybe I have to unlock the door for him. So I unlock it. He just laughs and says that tickles. And the next thing I know, he's out of his cell, but I can't talk to him. Like he's nowhere to be found.
What?
I'm like, I don't know what to do with this quest. So yeah, there's like some things like that where I'm like, I appreciate that it's not completely spelled out, like do exactly this and go to exactly this quest marker, but I
Mhm.
have no idea what to do right now. I'm like rereading the quest log and I'm like, yeah, so it's coral snakes, but I don't know where or who to talk to. I don't know. My other thought was maybe go back to the scene of the crime where that whole, the coral snake's hideout is. But honestly, at this point, I don't even remember where that was to like
Mhm.
look for clues or something. So I think I might have to just drop that quest. And so stuff like that. Some quests that won't complete are just kind of irritating to me because I am more of a completionist. I like to clean out, my quest log and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to settle with some quests I'm just not gonna be able to complete. Unless
Yeah.
I go outside for help, but I'm just trying to leave it. I'm just trying to do the playthrough without, using, too much help from outside type of thing, like
Mhm.
guides or anything like that.
Yeah, I get that.
What about you? Are you finding any
Oh,
new bugs or issues?
I was going to say no until you brought that up, and it was like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Trauma unlocked.
Yeah.
But now that you've mentioned it, yes, that is actually just something I don't enjoy about the game. is not only are quest storylines like real shallow.
Mm-hmm.
For example, there was one that I was actually super invested in. I thought, oh, this is getting really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quest line where how does it start? You're helping out the church in the first main city.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the sisters goes, oh, I'll give you the tour. Like, this is where we look after our sick. If you could help us out, that would be really great. I need this thing. You go, you get that thing for her. Then you come back in, and I forget how it starts, but one of the patients on the bed, once she's left, goes, hey, psst, I think she's sus. I don't feel safe or comfortable here. Can you scout out what's happening? Because I feel like I've only gotten worse since I've been here. So I'm like, ooh, interesting. Okay, let's have a look. And you find like a hidden little basement that only she's allowed to go into. And then you go find some of her old patients. Some of them are like, yeah, I feel amazing. She was so good for me. Some of them are like, well, that didn't feel right. And I was like, okay, this is so interesting. This is so nuanced. It's like saying, most people who go to hospital die. It's like, well, that's because they're dying, and only some people can be helped, and then they die at the hospital, stuff like that. I was like, maybe it's just sick people and she's helping them and they end up dying anyway. But no, it ends up being, she's sus. And the problem is, I finished the whole quest line. I still have no idea what she was sus for. So I think you've done this as well, this quest line?
I finished. Were you able to finish it?
I finished it. I arrested her. She was trading
Can I ask
like
you,
a drug
how did
or something.
Yeah, she was. How did you arrest her?
I leapt on top of her.
Yes. I was like, what the hell? What the hell is that? I was like, I was at the very end of it, at the very end of that quest line, and I was like, I'm like, because all it says is like gather the evidence and have her, arrested or something. I'm like, I think I found all the evidence, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with her. And then someone said grab her, and I'm like, what? And so I literally jumped on her, and then all of a sudden it says like, the prison, and I'm like, wait, I got sent to jail for assaulting her? But no, we're there because she got sent to jail, And I was like, wait, so it literally was I had to assault her?
You literally like tackle her to the ground and then sit on her while she's
Exactly. I was like, oh my God.
I had the same thing. I was like, right, I've got all my evidence. She's been doing these illegal night smuggle trade things. She's got this terrible, I found out what the medicine is, some drug that makes people way worse and does nasty stuff to them, and then maybe they get better.
Yeah,
it's addictive. And I was like, okay, right, I'm going to go confront her. And I talked to her, and she just gives me some bland, nondescript line. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? And then the quiz very specifically says arrest her. So I was like, do I take her to the prison? So I tried the pickup button, but instead it just had me tackle her down. But I was so disappointed because I guess coming from RPGs, and I've been spoiled lately with really good RPGs. I was like, I want to know why she was doing it. Like, what was her motivation? So I went to the prison, I talked to her, and all she said was, you don't understand. I was working for a bigger cause. I'm like, tell me!
Yeah,
why
but you can tell
hurting
me.
these people? What was your whole motivation here?
Yeah.
I went back, I was
wow,
like,
they missed out.
Yeah, maybe the kitty boy is out. Maybe he's good. Maybe he's healthy again. No, he's still just lying there, moaning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at that point, he doesn't even talk to you. Yeah, I was like, I know. I felt really unsatisfied with the quest line as well.
So unsatisfied.
But I thought anyway, you did a pretty good job going down to the prison to actually talk to her. It didn't even occur to me to, I'm going to go down to talk to her. But so I think that part is kind of cool that you went down and you were able to talk to her. But it's just kind of sucks that they didn't flesh it out. Yeah, that she could have told you a lot more. Like, when she said you don't understand, and then she could have went into this whole whatever backstory of like why she did it. But Oh, they missed out. They missed out on a
Missed
chance to
out.
like. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it was so
Agreed.
nearly a really interesting quest. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to find out why she's doing this. And then it just ended. And I was like, what? That's it.
Yeah.
But at
For
least
real.
that quest had steps that were very easy to follow. Even so, that's kind of an example of where I find the writing very shallow.
Mm-hmm.
But
Agreed.
there've been some quests like what you were describing, where it's just like, how the hell are you supposed to know what to do here?
Mm-hmm.
There
Exactly.
was one in the border checkpoint town.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I might be rambling here.
No, you're not. No, go on. Yeah.
But you were supposed to find someone's kid or grandson had gone missing.
Oh, yes.
I'm really fuzzy on the details because honestly, the game didn't make me care about the details.
Exactly.
Anyway, I had to find a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're supposed to do, and what the game doesn't tell you, is you're supposed to go talk to a bunch of the townsfolk
Mm-hmm.
and get context clues. And one lady goes, oh, he loved these flowers. And I was like, okay, he liked flowers. And my partner
Yeah.
behind me was like sitting. He's like, yes, I have to see how this goes. Because he'd struggled with it for ages.
Uh-huh.
And I was totally lost. I was like, okay, he likes flowers. I'll go talk to some other people. He's like, nope, that's all you needed. Let's go find flowers. I was like, okay,
Uh-huh.
we'll go find the
Okay.
flowers. We found the patch of flowers. There's nothing there except a griffin. And that is where the clues ended. And I was like, okay, there's no kid. I'll search the immediate area. There was nothing. I was like,
Yep.
okay, I'll search a little further. I started going back towards town. I was like, no, this can't be right. And then my partner was like, okay, no, let me show you, because I couldn't find this either. It's ages away. It's like down the hill, round the corner, into a tunnel, out the tunnel. And then finally you find the wolves that dragged the kid away. I was like, how's anyone meant to put this together?
Yeah, I experienced the same thing. I talked to everyone. They're like, because the one girl kept getting in my face. She's like, yeah, go to the flower area or whatever. I was like, okay, I get it. And then she kept talking about going at night or something, like the moonflowers or something. And I was like, okay. But just like you, once I got there, nothing happened. And I'm like, I mean, I fought some things and I was like, okay, there's nothing here. But when I went back to town, I don't know if it's just because I missed talking to someone, but there's a person that as soon as I went back into town, it was right by the ox cart. He wanted to talk to me, and then he tells me where to actually find the kid, like in the cave and all that kind of stuff.
Okay,
So,
I guess I missed that.
But I don't know what triggered. I don't know, because I thought I talked to everybody in town before I left, So I don't know if it's just you're meant to fail, go back, and then he triggers, and then you go out again. I have no idea. But yeah, that one was a messed up quest. I have to agree, though. I was just like, whatever. So it's like, at least, because what are you supposed to do? Talk to every single NPC in town? Like, I was doing that in the beginning. I was like, this is stupid. It's like, narrow it down for me or something.
Exactly. And it's very unintuitive because none of the other quests really work that way.
Exactly.
So
at least the other ones, if they tell you like go talk to someone, they tell you in a certain area or something, but they're just like, yeah, talk to some villagers here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think the quest even said that explicitly. You kind of had to intuit that, which is fine. I've played games like Larian Studios games, DOS 2, BG3. Those are very much talk to everyone, figure out what you need to do. But they're intuitive. They make sense. This one did not. So, I totally understand some weird quest stuff there.
And I think that was my problem with some of the games, like with the grabbing one to arrest Elena. I was like, how is that intuitive? Like, it just says to arrest her. I'm not, a cop, a police, or, a guard, or why would I arrest her? So it's like, not even like, so I just assault her, whatever, jump on her, like, why is that a thing? Like that, to me, that was not intuitive at all, that I was supposed to jump on her.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
And the only reason I even got there was because I was like, maybe I have to carry her to the guards.
Well, you're a lot better at figuring it out then, because that crossed your mind. That didn't even cross. I'm like, that didn't even cross my mind to pick them up. What? So
yeah, it was odd.
It
was odd.
Yeah, so odd. Alrighty,
some real weird
so let's wrap up.
Stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, I think we're all done then. Let's wrap it up. Flute, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at featuringFlewt. I'm also on the TikToks at FTFlewt. So come over and check it out.
Excellent. Will do. I'm AlteredCalyx. You can find me Twitch, YouTube, Twitter/X under AlteredCalyx. We're also on Spotify if you care to just listen to it and not see our lovely faces.
You'd be missing out.
Yes, exactly. You're missing out. That's it for us. That's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in for episode 4 of Girls That Game, and see you guys next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.